really sure how much it's going to take for this team to be seen as anything serious or even remotely serious. I also know that doesn't matter. The only stuff that does matter is the stuff that they're getting done. Good morning to you. Good Friday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Penguins. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Pirates in the same place that you found this. Penguins 5, two-time defending Stanley Cup champion Panthers 3 last night in Sunrise, Florida, on their ice with those guys playing pretty well, something they would acknowledge on the Florida side afterward. But what they didn't have an answer for is the Penguins scoring 5, I thought, really skillful goals. Of Sidney Crosby's 2, the first one came on a one-timer that went bar down when he saw that Sergei Bobrovsky was down and really kind of helpless in the crease. You still got to get it up over him. Clang and down. Next one, Rickard Rakell swatted a backhand aerial rebound past Bob. This off of a really nice feed from Erik Karlsson out at the right point. Ben Kindle put away a give and go one-time slap shot of his own from the left dot that just rocketed over Bob's blocker side. Listen, if you haven't seen these highlights and you think I'm, making these things sound better than they were, go see the highlights. This is legit stuff. Kindle's shot was not something an 18-year-old should be doing at this level. Connor Dewar scored the Penguins' 4th goal. And this is all while, by the way, the Panthers are coming back, staying within one, continuing to fight. Dewar made a hard turn to the left to go into the slot. Some of the stuff that Dan Muse has been talking about wanting all of his wingers to do, make sure that they're working their way toward the middle, pressuring the middle of the other team's zone. Dewar did that. He didn't get off the greatest shot. It kind of skittered toward Bob. He mishandled it a little bit, but the effort to get into that slot was what defined that goal. Dewar's now already got 3, and then the last one, it defies adjectives. It was a power play goal in which every guy on the rink touched the puck within about a 4-second span, just until Sid blasted it home. Absolutely mechanical and pivotal because it came at a great time. It gave the Penguins their 2-goal lead back, allowed them to continue defending when they were in their own zone, which was a significant amount of time because those other guys are pretty good. They really never lost control. They kept themselves in smart positions. They kept pressuring. Every red sweater seemed like it had 2 white sweaters on it. It was the closest I've seen the Penguins get to what they did to the Rangers back in the season opener in New York. And all of that coupled with Tristan Jarry being just wow. I mean, just so solid and occasionally spectacular. This was a high-quality W. This was not some fluky, lucky thing. This was a high level of performance in all 3 zones to get this result against this opponent. The team is now 6-2. It's won 4 in a row. Here's what Muse had to say about it afterward to reporters in Sunrise.
The guys are thrilled for the locker room. Winning's not easy in this league. And they're the ones that are going out there, they're doing it, and they're doing it in different ways. I think, just even the second and third efforts in a game like this, they need to be there. I thought they were consistent throughout. Even when there were breakdowns, I don't think it was for a lack of effort. And so, they're earning the wins. And it's great to see, and we've done it in some different ways. I mean, I said said the other day, that's not for me to have to be, happy for the players and happy for the locker room. Like winning, I don't take it for granted. Winning is very, very hard in this league, but it's still early. And so, our mentality is going to be, we got a day off tomorrow, and we got to get back to work, and we got to just continue to take steps and continue to get better. And that's been the approach, from the beginning of the year, and that's going to be the approach as we keep moving forward.
And here is what Jarry had to say on the same subject.
I think when we play to our structure and we play to the game that we know we can, I think we're a hard team to play against. I think just making sure that we're doing that night in, night out, that's going to be the challenge. Being able to do that for the first start of the season, the guys have done a really good job. We've been protecting the scoring areas, and we've been putting a lot of pucks in the net, and we've got a little bit of puck luck. So I think that comes with hard work and everything that we've been practicing, and I think it's been rewarding for us.
When I kept bringing up all summer long that I didn't understand why everyone, at least outside of Pittsburgh, I'm sure there were a lot in Pittsburgh, there were a lot of people who listen to this show, there were a lot of people who read the DK Pittsburgh Sports app, who felt very strongly that this team was going to stink. And I'm not sure why I should have understood that, because it never made any sense to me. I had the feeling that the sentiment arose mostly from the outside perception that the Penguins were trying to sell everybody off, even though I kept reporting that no such thing was the case. Well, June, July, August pass, nobody was sold off, and the team that came back, the roster that would be produced out of training camp, was one that had a lot of very talented players on it, in addition to some desperately needed, and I'm not stretching with that adverb, youth and freshness to the supporting cast. Well, this supporting cast has done what a supporting cast is supposed to do, or doer if you want to get punny about it. But you need goals from other lines. You need lead-preserving or game-altering shifts from other lines. You need not just a first line that gets you some scoring, and that, by the way, was one of the other nice things about this game last night. Sooner or later, Brian Rust is going to get a goal and go on one of his trademark tears. But the second line of Evgeny Malkin, Anthony Mantha, Justin Brazeau, that was needed as well. All of this has come about. All of this has overcome what I still see as a significant shortcoming, the left side of defense. And all of this has been backstopped and bolstered by very good goaltending from both Jarry and Artur Shilovs. And I'm going to leave you with one final thought on this subject. When I talk to these players, what I hear from them is exasperation that they're not playing better. Not because they think they're supposed to stink, but because they, way more than any of us, infinitely more than any of us, and by the way, more than their own coaches, they know what they're missing on. They know what isn't there yet. They also happen to believe that it's eminently attainable. So before casting the remainder of the season in doom and gloom for the same silly reasons that everybody was doing it over the summer, which at this point would be nothing other than lingering false perception, think instead about what these Penguins will look like when they're playing up to where they think they can be playing. Some of that's systematic, some of that is missed assignments, some of that is, just plain old misfiring on the rink, whether it's a pass or a shot. We've seen in particular the defensemen miss way too often. But I'll repeat that Rust has no goals, that Ville Koivunen was sent down after 2 awful games to open the season, that Rutger McGroarty, who was supposed to be, along with Koivunen, a big part of all this, he's not here either because of injury. Kevin Hayes hasn't been around all season. There's nothing preordained about this team plunging anytime soon, or really at all. I'm not suggesting that they're great. I'm not saying that they're a contender. I'm saying that when you score 5 goals like they did last night, and you defend as diligently and effectively as they did last night. And when you get goaltending like what you got last night, let it ride, let it ride. When we come back, J1Q. For those of you who are doing real work in construction, in a warehouse, if you're a mechanic, you want reliable, comfortable gear to help you perform well on the job. Brunt Workwear's got you. They've got waterproof boots, safety toe, soft toe, pull-on, lace-up, whatever you need. You can wear them to work, and if they're not right for you, send them back. I don't know of any other brand doing that. Brunt was tired of the workwear brands out there cutting corners. You work too hard to be stuck in uncomfortable boots that don't hold up. So they built something better. Boots that are insanely comfortable and built for any job site. For a limited time, our listeners get $10 off. Just head to bruntworkwear.com. Use the code DK Sports and you're good to go. After you order, they'll ask you where you heard about Brunt. Do us a favor here at DK Pittsburgh Sports and tell them it was from this show. Today's J1Q comes from Todd, who says, DK, your ability to see the technical details in the game and then explain those to us laypersons is absurdly good. So help us who only know enough about hockey to be dangerous understand what has changed with Tristan Jarry. Is his positioning better? His posture in the crease? The guys in front of him? His mental mindset? Todd, you could have thrown in the Dan Muse system. You could have thrown in the team's general resilience in front of him. You could have thrown in lots of blocked shots. There is other credit to give for the way both Jarry and Artur Shilovs have performed. That said, I am not going to accept from anyone, any theory that Jarry has somehow found a new life within this new season, because I saw that and reported it as happening last February from St. Paul, Minnesota. That was, of course, when he was called back up from his minor league banishment, and Mike Sullivan had kind of carried him around on the trip because of injuries, didn't really have a choice. And then he reached the point once he got to facing the Wild that day that he just, let's just go with Jars. So he puts him in. Jarry's out there against Marc-Andre Fleury. You probably remember this one. There was technical brilliance from the beginning from Jarry. As I would tell him that day in St. Paul after the game, I saw it in the first 5 minutes. I saw that he was at his best. He stayed that way. He bounced back when Minnesota eventually scored, wasn't bothered by it, ended up beating them, and ended up having, with one real exception that I can recall, and that was a game against the Sabres where everything went wrong, that he was, for the most part, that good the entire rest of the way. Flash forward now. Shilovs gets the start at Madison Square Garden. Raised a lot of eyebrows, I'm sure. Muse's decision there. Shilovs validates it. Penguins come home. They face the Islanders. Jarry goes in net. Pre-game intros. Jarry's name is announced. There's a handful, not many, but a handful of boos, and those can really penetrate crowd noise, so they're noticeable. Whereas when Shilov's name was called out to the crowd, there was just burst of love and affection as if he'd been here for years or something. All Jarry did that night was to outduel Ilya Sorokin, and Sorokin was really good at the other end. And here, too, this was the only other time this happened, I went to Jarry after the game and I said, that was it. That was the same thing. That was St. Paul. And he smiled. He knew exactly what I was referencing. And what you've gotten out of him overall, and these goaltenders have now split 4 games each. They're each 3-1. Shilovs has a 2.25 goals against. Jarry is 2.52. Shilovs has a .919 save percentage. Jarry's 2 ticks above that at .921. Each one has a shutout. So I'm not going to look at whatever the dividing line might have been as anything related to this season. That began for me in St. Paul. And the only thing, of course, that predates St. Paul is that minor league banishment. And even that, his final 3 games in Wilkes-Barre were not good. He did not earn being brought back up. Maybe he just doesn't want to ever go back there again. I appreciate the question, Todd. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Penguins. I'm going to be doing a whole lot of hockey coverage in the days to come. That'll be splattered all over our app if you want to follow this team as closely as anyone can conceivably follow it. Our app isn't just the best place to do it, it's the only place to do it in some cases. And by that I mean, parenthetically, that neither of Pittsburgh's 2 newspapers sent a reporter on the road to cover this game last night. We're at every game, everywhere that all of our teams play. We report live. We engage with you. That's games, practices, press conferences, whatever it is. Download the DK Pittsburgh Sports app into your device, your Apple or Android device right now. That's free. You're going to open it up. You're going to see ads. You're going to see that you can't comment. You're going to see that you can't participate in the Q&A sessions with our staff. I'll solve that for you. Send me an email, dk@dkpittsburghsports.com. I'll hook you up with a premium level at a massive discount. Don't try to do it yourself. Email me. This is my email address. I'm going to answer it myself, dk@dkpittsburghsports.com. We would love to have you aboard for our one-of-a-kind hockey coverage. This program will be back Monday morning. Have a wonderful weekend.